You've been playing the wrong game your entire life, not because you're stupid, not because you're bad with money, because nobody told you there are two games being played on the same board. Here's the game. Earn money, spend less than you earn, save the rest, repeat for 40 years, retire at 65, hopefully don't run out. And here's the game the wealthy play. Buy time, borrow other people's money, stay invisible, protect the downside, and never, ever take financial advice from yourself. Same board, same pieces, completely different rules. And the wildest part? These rules aren't secret because they're complicated. They're secret because saying them out loud makes wealthy people sound cold, calculating, and a little bit weird, so they stay quiet. And you keep playing the wrong game. Today we're breaking that silence. 7 money rules rich people follow every single day that they'll never say out loud. Rule 1. Time is the real asset. Money is just the tool. Most people learn this backwards. They treat money like it's sacred and time like it's infinite. They'll drive 15 minutes out of their way to save $3 on gas, then scroll their phone for 4 hours and feel nothing. Here's the math that broke my brain. If you make $25 an hour, a $4 coffee costs you about 10 minutes of work. Fine. But that $30,000 car, that's 1,200 hours, 7.5 months of your life, gone, traded for a metal box that loses value the second you drive it. Rich people don't think about what something costs in dollars. They think about what it costs in life. They call it the time tax. Every purchase has a dollar price and a time price. The dollar price is what the sticker says. The time price is how many hours of your finite life you traded to get it. This isn't about never spending money. It's about knowing what you're actually paying with. Rich people protect their time like it's the last bottle of water in a desert. They pay for things that give them time back, an accountant, a cleaner, a faster flight, because they know the time they save can be used to earn more. You've been trading hours for dollars since you were 16. The wealthy trade dollars for hours. Then, they use those hours to build systems that make dollars while they sleep. Same paycheck, different direction. Rule 2. Never use your own money. I know, that sounds illegal. It's not. It's how every fortune gets built. Here's the game. You borrow money at 5%, invest it at 10%, and keep the difference. That 5% spread, multiplied across millions of dollars over decades, that's not a salary, that's a dynasty. The middle class uses debt to buy things that lose value. Cars, clothes, vacations on credit cards at 22% APR. That's not leverage. That's a shovel digging your own financial grave. The wealthy use debt to buy assets that make money. Real estate that pays rent, businesses that generate profit, investments that appreciate while someone else pays down the loan. Same 4 letters. DEBT. Completely different outcomes. The rule is brutally simple. Good debt buys you an asset. Bad debt buys you a story you tell yourself about what you deserve. Stop borrowing for consumption. Start borrowing for production. Rule 3. The more money you have, the less you should look like you have it. There's a phrase whispered in private banking circles. The loudest wallet is the emptiest. The guy at the party in head-to-toe logos telling everyone what his watch costs, not a rich guy. That's a guy auditioning to be rich. The actual wealthy person is in a plain grey t-shirt, drove a 10-year-old Toyota, and ordered water. This isn't modesty, it's strategy. Every time you signal wealth, 3 things happen, all bad. 1. You become a target. 2. Everything you buy gets more expensive because people price based on what they think you can pay. 3. You attract competitors who will spend their lives trying to take your spot. The rich call it stealth wealth. It works like camouflage in nature. The animal that blends in doesn't get eaten. Here's the trap. The moment you start making more money, your brain screams at you to signal it. A nicer car. The vacation photos. That urge is biological, a deep evolutionary need to broadcast status. The wealthy override it. Not because they're saints, because they did the math. Every dollar spent on looking rich is a dollar that's not working, not compounding, not making more dollars while you sleep. Rule 4. Getting rich isn't about winning, it's about not losing. Most people treat money like a casino, the 10x crypto trade, the hot stock tip, the can't-miss opportunity their cousin told them about. Rich people treat money like a fortress. The first question isn't, how much can I make? It's, how much can I lose? Here's a math problem that should terrify you. If your portfolio drops 50%, you don't need a 50% gain to break even. you need a 100% gain. Lose half your money, you have to double what's left just to get back to zero. That's why the wealthy are paranoid about downside. They'd rather make 8% reliably for 20 years than gamble on 50% this year and lose 30% the next. Warren Buffett has one rule: don't lose money. Rule 2. Don't forget Rule 1. He's not being cute. Protect the principal. Let the upside take care of itself. When you're not busy recovering from losses, you're busy compounding gains. The amateur thinks about what they can make. The professional thinks about what they can afford to lose. Rule 5. Let losers win. This is the hardest rule. Someone argues with you about money. They mock your boring index funds while bragging about their meme coin that 10x'd. Your brain screams, prove them wrong, win the argument. Don't. Rich people let losers win. They nod. They say, you're probably right. And they go back to quietly building wealth while the arguer burns energy, winning a battle that pays exactly $0. Winning an argument about money is the most expensive victory you'll ever have. It costs time, mental energy, and sometimes the relationship. And the person you beat, they don't change their mind. They just resent you. Every minute you spend proving a point is a minute you didn't spend building something real. Rich people treat their attention like it's the most expensive thing they own. Because it is. You can always make more money. You can never make more attention. Let them think they won. You'll be too busy winning what actually counts. Rule 6. Ask, and then what? This is the question that saves rich people thousands on every financial decision. Here's how most people buy a car. They see the monthly payment, $399. They can afford $399. Done. Here's how the wealthy buy a car, $399 a month. And then what? Insurance, add $150. Fuel, add $120. Maintenance, add $80. Parking, add $50. Depreciation. The car loses $300 in value every single month. The $399 car actually costs $1,100 a month. Now, the wealthy person asks, is this car worth $1,100 a month of my life? Or could that $1,100 be buying an asset that pays me instead? This works for everything. A bigger house, and then what? Higher utilities, more furniture, higher property tax. A promotion that pays $10,000 more, and then what? Longer commute, higher tax bracket, less time with family. The "and then what" question reveals the second price of everything. The price you pay after you pay the first price, and the second price is almost always the one that breaks you. Rule 7. The most expensive advice in the world is the free advice you give yourself. Let that land. Every wealthy person has one thing in common. They pay for expertise. A tax attorney who saves them 6 figures. An accountant who spots deductions they'd never find. A financial planner who sees the blind spots they're too close to notice. The middle class DIYs everything. TurboTax, YouTube tutorials. I'll figure it out. And it costs them, not today, but in the decade of compounding they lose because they got one big thing wrong. A good accountant costs $2,000 a year. A bad tax mistake costs 20 times that, plus penalties, plus interest, plus years of your life dealing with the IRS. Rich people understand something counterintuitive. The more you pay for advice, the cheaper it gets. Because the mistakes you don't make are worth far more than the fees you do pay. The amateur pays with mistakes. The professional pays for prevention. One is dramatically cheaper. 7 rules, and they all point to the same uncomfortable truth. The game isn't rigged against you because of who you are. It's rigged against you because of what you don't know. The people who do know, they're not obligated to tell you. The system works better for them when you never learn the rules at all. But now you know. Time is the real asset. Money is just the tool. Use other people's money. Stay invisible. Protect the downside. Let losers win. Ask, and then what? And pay for the right advice. These aren't complicated. You could teach them to a 14-year-old in an afternoon, but nobody does. Because the people who follow these rules don't talk about them. And the people who talk about money, they're usually following completely different rules. From now on, you're playing the real game, the quiet one, where you build slowly, stay invisible, and let your money work harder than you do. Coming up next. Why your savings account is costing you money. Yes, your savings account. The thing you were told was responsible. Turns out it might be your biggest mistake. Subscribe so you catch it. Same paycheck, different rules. Now you know both.